Da-da-da-da-da. Welcome to another riveting edition of The Ghost and the Goat, starring me, your host, paranormal investigator, craft beer enthusiast, Boston faithful, Buddy Thayer, welcoming you to join me. Take me by the hand, the other hand, not the beer hand. We'll walk through the fields together. We're going to skip through some sports fields, but it's going to be quick, boys and girls, because it's a sad place to live in Boston because our baseball team is absolutely trash. And we got no skins in the NBA. We got no skins in the NHL game. And football is not really on right now. And if it was, I wouldn't really be talking about the New England Patriots. So that's that. Before we get tonight's guest, before I bring on my co-host Jai, I generally I pitch a little sports your way. Speaking of pitching, the Red Sox, oh my Lanta, as I shared moments ago, are abysmal this season. We are a whopping 27-37. We won one game against the Orioles, in fourth place. We won one game against the Yankees. We won Friday night against the Yankees. It was a good game. Gave me a little bit of hope, and then, of course, we got shot in the foot. And we lost Sunday night to the Yankees, and then we lost Monday to the Devil Rays, and then we lost last night to the Devil Rays. And currently, we're losing tonight to the Devil Rays, and we're going to lose tomorrow to the Devil Rays. And this is pretty much our entirety of our season. We're going to have a win here, and then a bevy of a stream, if you will, of losses, and then a win, and then a bunch of losses, and then a win. We're never going to do anything. Boston is garbage this year, unfortunately. We fired a skipper. We don't have a lot of, team glue. But, in retrospect, not in retrospect, but I mean, in hindsight, no, I don't think. Anyway, we're not the worst in the league. Boston is 27-37. It makes me happy to say this, that the New York Mets are 29-36. Yeah, looks like that. They're terrible. They got all that stacked money on that team. And then the Giants, 27-40. And, of course, the Colorado Rockies are a whopping 24-42. It's a long season, boys and girls. We still got – God, we're not even at the play. We're not even at the All-Star break. I don't think Boston's going to do anything right now. The wild card race, as it stands right now in June – what? Oh yeah, the Yankees in the American League who are tied with the Devil Rays actually lead the wild card race as well. The Chicago White Sox, who have had a rebound and they're now suddenly better than the Red Sox, are in second, and Texas Rangers, and of course the Blue Jays, and so on and so forth. And of course Boston isn't even in. Oh no, Boston is in the runnings. We are 4.5. Oh, that's not too bad. 4.5 games back on the wild card. So I mean, I guess there is hope. Just not a lot of hope. I don't know. Maybe I'm just I don't know. Red Sox are gonna suck this year. That's my prediction. I don't think we're gonna win the wild card. I don't think we're gonna come close to the wild card. I think the whole lot of them are gonna get flushed next year, and we'll probably start anew. Hopefully they get rid of everybody. Hell, get rid of Craig Preslow. I don't know, just flush everybody down the toilet. Get rid of everybody. Start. I don't know. Maybe not, but probably not, obviously. But anyway, that's my feeling on the Red Sox. In NFL news, the NFL isn't open right now, but there's a pending breakout of domestic violence, an epidemic, if you will, domestic violence charges in the offseason, with the most recent arrest just 7 hours ago of Alara Jackson from the LA Rams. arrested on domestic violence charges. Just like 11 hours ago, Broncos pass rusher Jonathan Cooper pleads not guilty in domestic violence charges. And the list goes on and on. When I think of the NFL and domestic violence, all I can think of is that absolutely horrific video with oh God, I had his name? Ray Rice. He drags his girlfriend in the elevator and he kicks the shit out of her on camera. What a dumbass! What a weak move for a big tough guy, a big tough millionaire running back, playing a kids game, getting paid millions of dollars, and beating up a woman in an elevator. You're a scumbag, Ray Rice. Anyway, this is unfortunately a growing trend in the NFL. Something that's really distasteful. Little boys with too much money. They have this kid being little boys with too much money. This kid from Texas Tech, he got caught with like 500 different gambling charges. He took it to court, and I think he got it overturned. And he's ended up going to make like $2 million playing in college football, only to boost him to put him into the NFL. So now we're like turning a blind eye to gambling. I don't know. All this money that's involved. I got nothing to say about that. The NBA, the Spurs took a game last night against the Knicks, and one of their fans got their asses kicked by, of course, it was a New York fan. The New York fandom is so classy, says nobody ever. So the Knicks are ahead 2 games to 1, and the Carolina Hurricanes, they're down 1. They have 1 game. It looks like they need to win tonight's game against Las Vegas, the Knights, to stand a chance for a comeback. If not, they're gonna flush the toilet on that Stanley Cup, and that series is gonna be over really quick, boys and girls. So that's what I got to say. Everything sucks because here in New England, we're soon to be hosting the 7 games for the World Cup. I'm not a soccer guy. It's a great sport. It takes a lot of endurance. I just never got into it. They're all coming here, though. We have hundreds of thousands of people like descending on southern New England. They're playing up in Foxborough at Gillette, and they're going to be all over Rhode Island, Mass. I'm hearing about these like massive Scottish army like going through like Providence and camping out in Providence. It should be a wild time. Maybe grab a beer. Go to the soccer game. Speaking of beers, this is a delicious beer, by the way. I'm drinking tonight. I have a nice porter. It's by a little brewery called Gray Sail down there in Westerly, Rhode Island. Leaning Chimney. It's a delicious smoky porter. We were at Gray Sail. We, Three Dudes Brews, my other podcast, we're at Gray Sail recently. We filmed an episode there. We'll be releasing it really soon. We say, buddy, how can I see more of this Three Dudes Brews? You come on the Ghost Show and you drink beer and you talk about Three Dudes Brews, and you how can I see more? You ask. Well, let me show you. In the time we're waiting for our guests and my co-host to come on, I'm going to show you a little bit about Three Dudes Brews, my other venture. Oh God, share the screen, buddy. You know how to do this. Come on. I'm going to click on this. Here we go. And you go to the Google and you type in Three Dudes Brews, either the number or the letter. As you see there, it's the number. And you'll get a chance to look at YouTube. You can see our website. You can see our stuff on the socials. We're on the gram, if you will. We're on the book face. Really good information there. A lot of good daily posts that they get put out. Our favorite beers and such. But we have 2 podcasts, boys and girls. The first one being the one where we go to different breweries and we chat it up with the brewers. As I said, where we really think, Gray Sail. Very shortly, but on here you can go to videos here, and then you can go ahead and scan this little bar down. You'll see all of our recent stuff. So this is Ed does fun little stuff at home. This is one of his fun things. He did it. You can see this, and it's him. I think he's like, love it for a sip. That's what it's called. Ed's all like googly-eyed about a beer, of course. This is Meet Mark Ambrosia. This is Mark Ambrose, for anyone who doesn't know Mark. He's He's the centerfold of the Playboy magazine that is the Rhode Island craft beer scene. He's a great guy. He takes a lot of selfies. He does a lot of good stuff. We made we made this show with Mark. Him thinking that it would be about social media and about how social media influences people and beer, and it does. And of course we did with Nicole of Crooked Current, who influences social media quite a bit herself. And then we turned around on Mark. We all opened up our Superman vests. And we all exposed the T-shirt Mark Ambrosia Ale. You can get that on draft at Crooked Current, 560 Mineral Spring Avenue, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. The Bucket. Check that out. The next thing you can check out is our other. So yeah, hold on before I get into our other one. So the Guild, that was our last one. We did Nickel Creek. It was a winery, so we don't just do beers. We do wine skits and mead. This is at Crook Point. This is at the mead. This is our episode down here. It was an episode of all. Did a bunch of meads with this guy Jamie here at Arcane, and we must have like 4 of these flights, and they started at like sweet bell pepper, and they worked their way up to I'm gonna blow my brains out eating this pepper. No, not like hurting myself, but the pepper's gonna just pow. And it did, and I cried many tears. But you check out that episode and many more like that. The other thing we do is every other week or so we do a live podcast with a local craft beer enthusiast. This week, I'm very proud to say that we welcomed 18-time Emmy Award-winning the Mad Fish, Charlie Moore. You might have seen him on Nesson if you're from around the area. You might have seen him on ESPN. Charlie Moore, no offense. He's a funny guy. He's a good guy. He was. We had a few laughs. We had a few beers. We had a few supporters. We talked about fishing. We talked about beer. We talked about beer and fishing. We talked about fishing and beer. It was a really great episode. So check out that and more from Three Dudes Brews and everything we do. Check out our live here. This is all our live shows. We go down. That's all of the last call, if you will. We did a last call from Tony's house. That was awesome. Check out the shorts. Ed does a whole bunch of shorts. Some of them in his shorts, some of them not. Some of them bundle up like an Eskimo there. All different stuff that we put on social media and our advertising, our fundraising events throughout the year. So check all that out. Check out Three Dudes Brews. Check out beer, boys and girls, because beer is so much more than that yellow shit that what your uncle has in his fridge. Some of it's this delicious smoky brown. Oh my god, it smells so good. Hold on, let me take a sip. Oh. It's a really good beer. So yeah, just check all that stuff out. Still waiting on our guest. I'm gonna bring in my co-host in just a moment, but yeah, check. Yeah. I don't really have anything to talk about right now to keep you occupied as we wait for tonight's guest, who I'll have up for David, who I'll have up for you in just a moment. I told him to be here for 8:20. Generally, I need to cut myself off, but tonight, because everything sucks in the sports world, I have nothing to go on. I have nothing to talk about. Three Dudes Brews, I just covered that. So I'm gonna bring on my guest, my co-host tonight, as always, joining me from the Whaling City, if you will, I believe, or somewhere in around that area. Welcome to the show, Jai. How you doing there?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, not too bad. Took a little time off, had some shit going on last week, but I had a guest tonight, so here I am back back to my old self. I needed it's been a long. I've worked like almost 2 doubles, and then a single shift today. And it's been busy at work. It's been busy at school finishing up. So I was looking forward to some really good beers and really good conversation and take my brain away from life for a few days. You know, need to pull myself away from the situation. So I mean, well, school is going great. It's a master's program, so it's none to shake a stick at, and I just gotta put my nose down and do my thing. How you been? How's things up going for you?
I've been sick, but I'm feeling much better now.
Yeah, did you have the whole respiratory, nasal,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
coughing
I
up a
had all
lung
of that.
thing? Yeah.
And then after I felt better from that, then I got something else where I was vomiting all the time. So
Oh God,
yeah, I
that's
don't
not wonderful at all.
well, we have
Um.
kids. We have kids here, so
Oh yeah, they bring in that extra love and that extra
it's yeah, they bring in
viruses and
every
extra stuff.
virus.
Yeah. One thing I did want to say before we get going tonight, boys and girls, a special shout out to local viewer, my friend Jeffrey. He's graduating from the Eisenhower School for National and Research Strategy down there in Washington, D.C. Defending our country, defending our people, learning new stuff every day. Cheers, dude. That's been a wonderful. I mean, you've been away from your family for a year, but it's been a wonderful time getting down to see you in the heart of history down there in Virginia. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful countryside. Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, I used to live in Virginia.
oh, did you? What part of Virginia are you from, Jack?
I lived in Richmond.
Oh,
I also lived in Portsmouth and Port Norfolk.
I don't know Portsmouth. I do know Norfolk, and of course, I know Richmond. I drove through there just last year. But my friend, right before his graduation, he's a history buff as I am, and he went down to Richmond and he saw Hollywood Cemetery and he saw like the old, Confederate stuff. It's cool to see the old foundries and stuff, the old state house. Um,
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
the Hollywood Cemetery. I think it's where did you see that? It was Jeb Stuart, who is the cavalry commander for the Confederacy, didn't survive the war, and Jefferson Davis, the head of the whole Confederacy. So I mean,
Right.
that's it's kind of good. And he wrapped all around Virginia, went down as far as Petersburg, went towards Norfolk. Is that no? That's I'm thinking. Is Norfolk north of Richmond, or is it on the coast? Which one are we talking about?
Port Norfolk is more on the coast.
Okay, so we went down that way towards like Seven Oaks battles, and he went on this giant Civil War tour of all the stuff that we haven't seen in the last year, which is fantastic. Appomattox Courthouse, sat where the war ended, sat in that power. That's just a tremendous opportunity to see all the history around you down there in Virginia. It's absolutely amazing. Tons
Yeah, it
of
is.
battlefields, not just Civil War history, but American Revolution, colonial history. That's where the first colonists came and settled over in Jamestown, over in America. So,
Right.
interesting history, interesting stuff. I'd
I
say.
lived there for 10 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to
I
work for the governor of Virginia. I was an accountant there.
holy shit! You've done a lot,
I've
huh?
done a lot. I really have.
Jesus,
That's why
that's
my
cool.
body's falling apart now.
Yeah,
I've
right.
done too much.
No, I hear you. But the I love the weather down there. I love it when it's like I was driving down there through like Christmas time, and it's like Christ, it was like 10 degrees here. It was like a nice balmy like 50 in Virginia, and then it was like 75 in South Carolina. Like, oh man, if I had money, maybe I'd move down south.
Right.
Much more pleasant in like Virginia and the Carolinas than they are in say New England. Some folks here around New England are a little bit a little spicy, a little edgy. But
Yeah. New England's definitely edgy.
yeah, yeah, everybody's pissed off for the last
I
like
know.
two.
Everybody has
No,
an
go ahead. What were you
attitude.
saying?
I was saying everybody has an attitude,
Oh,
pretty
everybody
much.
has an attitude. Like for the last 2 weeks, I've had to. Oh, nice. Okay. I've had to drive my truck 40 miles an hour. So I haven't been able to drive on the highway because I got a bad ball joint. So I'm having that
Mm,
replaced this week. So I drive on the back roads going anywhere I gotta go, which takes, of
right.
course, an extra half an hour. Um, and I'm just texting our guest, so I see a little distracted here. And holy shit, you don't realize like you see people drive by and they flip you off or whatever on the highway, but it's not like an interaction. I was driving through Cranston, and this guy pulled right out and he almost hit me. I'm like, dude, what's I'm like, give him a bird. I pull up, and I drive up, and I'm like a half a mile down the road, and this cop pulls up slowly. I'm like, oh shit! And it's these two guys. He's like, hey, fucko, you got a problem with you? And he starts yelling at me. Like, oh, come on, dude. I'm like, you almost hit me. Like, relax, relax. I'm waiting for the gun to come out because that's like every other day now. But it's just so much more road rage and so many. I didn't realize how much I hated like traffic lights and sitting in them and like, oh my god, and school buses. I really can't stand school buses. Being the last 2 weeks of the school year, just really grinds my gears, Jay. Really grinds my gears. So you see that a lot more, like how pissed off people really are when you're driving, out on the roads with them every day. I guess I don't know.
Oh yeah.
We're not flying.
Some of the people that I drive with,
yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, you're gonna get a shot. Like, you stop.
Yeah, right. You never know. You never know who you're talking to these days.
You don't. You just
it's crazy. And everybody that shouldn't have a gun has a gun, unfortunately. So
right.
Or a knife in all the wrong places, like that kid in those two kids. On the news, it was on the news tonight because they got busted. But the kid was that trial, but the kid that stabbed the other kid at the track meet, they're both like 17 years old. Like, Jesus Christ, come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
This kid's life is over now. He's facing like a 90-year jail sentence. He's 17 years old. But I get it. But Jesus Christ, why'd you have a knife on you at a track meet? Come on, setting yourself up for failure. Anyway, speaking of not setting ourselves up for failure, tonight's guest joining us now. He's born out in the Michigan region. He's grew up in Fayetteville, Arkansas. After some years at the University of Arkansas, he served in the Army for 2 years, worked in transportation and education until his retirement. Now, he spends his time working on investigating the unsolved and through other various groups in social media. Please welcome to the show. David Worthington. David.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Dave?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
Pretty awesome.
Hi,
so
David.
you're in Arkansas. You're out there in Arkansas.
Well, yeah, I lived in Arkansas. I'm in Oklahoma now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. So you say you're into the unexplained, the unknown. What do you specifically? What does that entail?
Well, what it is I like puzzles, okay? And when you have a puzzle, when you're putting it together, if you have one last piece you can't ever find, you've got to look for it someplace. And once that last piece comes into existence, you've got the solved, or in other words, taken an unsolved to a solved, which is what that group does.
Okay, so that's what you solve the unsolved.
Yes, in fact, one of them recently I put out there. There was a 2 cars that disappeared at this one lake in Oklahoma, one in 69 and one in 70. Put the article out there because they found all these bodies. I had 58,000 people look at it.
Oh, wow.
But the thing is, the more people that look at stuff, the more they share, the more they put it out there. And therefore, the one tip that I need could be in that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's all I want is a one tip to solve something. And that's what all you need.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So is that like about the 2 cars disappearing that immediately draws to my attention? Like, there's this area in New England called the Bennington, Vermont. So they have the Bennington Triangle where people have gone missing. Is it similar to something like that? Or the Bermuda Triangle? Is it similar to something like that? Or are we talking about something more foul, something more human?
No, this is sort of like that, yes. And in fact, I do investigate stuff like that also because I'm interested in some of my other things, unusual things in Oklahoma, which is another of my groups, is I talk about, Bigfoot, whatever, just to find out what's out there.
All right, fair enough. So what are your thoughts? What are your experiences? So what are your experiences on we'll start with Bigfoot. What are your experiences on Bigfoot? What have you found in your research? What have you done to help to solve the mystery of Bigfoot, if anything, sir, please?
Well, I go ahead and put information out there and things that need to be done to do it. I'm not sure that they are doing it. For example, on Bigfoot, people don't want to kill him, which is just fine. But if you put tranquilizer weapons out there in various amounts for the tranquilizer, then you could tranquilize him on no matter how big he is.
Okay.
And, you can't find, right now, you can't find burial sites for him. So what the heck?
Right.
Do something. So, but
I think that's my biggest, like, one of my biggest arguments. It's like they not only because they out here they have like people that will tree knocking, and they'll have like the sticks bent. That's another one. And all right, so the casts in the ground, that's pretty solid for me, I think. But beyond all that, there's no real like bam, the missing link put in there, and everything. There's no body. There's no habitat. There's no what are your thoughts?
One thing that's bad about Bigfoot research is there's no clearinghouse for research throughout the country. If you have UFOs or something like that, there is a UFO clearinghouse that does that information and gathers the information and puts it in one spot. But there's nothing like that for Bigfoot due to the fact it doesn't seem like they care about it. If they had a Bigfoot clearing site, then you could say, well, this led to this, led to this.
Yep. I had the opportunity to I went to a Bigfoot convention actually in Virginia. We were just talking about Virginia. It was in it was in like the Shenandoah Mountains. So it was a beautiful, beautiful country. And there were like 6 different speakers on Bigfoot at this convention. And each one of them kind of had like a different like representation of what Bigfoot might have been. One of them was like, all right, Bigfoot's an ape, it's a primate. Another one was like, Bigfoot's an evolution of man. All right. Another one would be like, all right, it's a ghost of another would be like, it's an alien. Another one would be like, oh, it's related to Jesus. Another would be like, oh, it's something else. But everybody had this different perspective on actually what Bigfoot was. What is your thoughts, David? Is Bigfoot, what is it? What category does it fall in?
It could fall into numerous categories, but quite truthfully, when you find footprints and you find structures and you find nests and stuff like that, that means it's a physical something. But you never find it for some reason, which may be that it outfoxes us. In fact, if you look back in California, they had I can't remember the name of the tapes that they had in California talking. It sounded like Bigfoot were talking to one another in those tapes.
Mm-hmm.
So that would prove intelligence. And it would prove something physical. Yep.
I've had on guests that said the guy was talking about a month ago about the Bigfoot like miles down on a lake, and then he came closer and closer, and he thought it was all the same. Oh, he was saying it was all the same Bigfoot. It wasn't different big feet. They were moving like through quantum time or space. Some physics. It's beyond my scope, dude. I'm a ghost guy. I really don't. I guess maybe an elemental or maybe aliens he was suggesting, but I'm not sure. I can't. Like, I'm a show me kind of guy still, even being a ghost guy. There's nothing to show me on any of this.
I watched the Expedition Bigfoot one time. I was watching it on TV, and they had the Bigfoot across the creek from where they were. It looked sort of like it disappeared while they were trying to get it on film.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be numerous things, but the thing is, you cannot find any burial sites. You cannot find any live specimens or anything else,
or carcasses, or sometimes someone will have fur, but who's to say it's? I don't know. It could be. Is it being tested? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. David.
Bigfoot could be a compilation of other things. It could be a visitor from space. It could be a physical monster. It could be whatever. But until you find one and have it alive, then you don't know what it is. But you do have the physical evidence for them.
Okay, so there's one thing about Bigfoot and about animals. If Bigfoot is an animal, I'm seeing this a lot in southern New England. We have these animals that were only once populating northern New England, like the bear or the mountain lion, or like, other animals like this that we now see down here in Rhode Island because of, building, and we're pushing them out of their homes and the yada yada, all that whole argument. So by that measure, why isn't this happening with Bigfoot? Why isn't Bigfoot showing up in my backyard eating my bird feeder? Why isn't Bigfoot in the dumpster behind work? Rocky Raccoon is, why isn't Bigfoot coming out because they're building on his home? What are your thoughts on that, David?
Well, quite truthfully, Bigfoot is a fairly smart character. In Expedition Bigfoot that I watched on TV, they had lights. There were infrared lights where they set up their trail cams with, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the trail cams were being avoided, and eventually they thought maybe Bigfoot can see this infrared light, therefore they avoid them. So they started putting bushes over the top of it so that they would not see it that much. So he is smart, and if the tapes from California prove it, they do talk to one another.
Yep. Okay. All right. I wouldn't doubt that if they're out there, for that matter. But again, it's people's experiences. I can't say, hey, I think you experienced this instead. I wasn't there. I didn't know anything that was going on. Jay, what are your thoughts? What do you think about the Bigfoot?
I'm kind of with you. Now I do understand they've gotten footprints and whatnot, but I'm just I feel like we need more physical evidence.
Right, give me something, guys.
And it seems like every time somebody gets them on film, it's like from far away or barely.
The one film that showed him crossing a creek area, I saw that film or whatever. Yep. That, and when people have looked at that from Hollywood perspective, they said this is an actual creature, not a person in a suit, because of the way it moved.
Right.
So, there is physical evidence, or there is physical things like that, but still, nobody can ever find one.
Right.
And you would think, like with the other things that are rare, you still find a rare something every once in a while in animals or birds or whatever.
Okay, so what about any other of the cryptozoological beings? It's not just Bigfoot. There's like Mothman, and Mothman's big, like only in a certain area, like Ohio, West Virginia. Or there's like we have pugwudgies up here in New England. Those are big in Massachusetts. I'm sure Oklahoma must have. I know down in Mexico there's Chupacabra. You guys must have your own mythological or cryptozoological beings. Well, what are your thoughts on those two?
We have Bigfoot in southern Oklahoma in particular. I was out in southern Oklahoma, and I was looking for some stuff there. I stopped at a Dairy Queen, and it had a sign up there that says, Bigfoot meeting tonight. Come in, so bring your stuff, etc. We're coming in to talk about it. So in other words, it's all over the place down here.
Cool.
There's other things that could be out there, but it's still Bigfoot seems to be the main thing. And one thing that they were talking about down here was that the deer population, how it's staying about even, but it looks like there's been more deer killed, and they don't think they're hunting them as much. So therefore could be a Bigfoot source of nutrition.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they were a carnivore. But yeah, no, that's cool. That's a cool point. I know that they're bigger in certain areas than others. I know they're like Pacific Northwest, they're huge, like Appalachian Trail area, they're huge. I didn't know where else they were. I know like East Asia, they're like China, the Himalayas, they're big up there, or the Yeti, if you will. But I didn't know that.
It's just all offshoots of the same thing, quite truthfully.
Yeah, right. Just different species or different families, and whatnot. Okay, so have you been out? Have you been out yourself and seen anything, experienced anything, or going looking for anything ever?
I've not been out Bigfoot hunting per se. I have kept
Mhm.
up with what's going on in my
Mhm.
travels around Oklahoma. I've seen numerous people talk about Bigfoot, but I've never really been out on a trip with them. But quite truthfully, just my opinion is that a lot of times people go out and quote hunt Bigfoot, but what they basically do is set up for a weekend, put up some trail cams,
Yeah.
and they get a rock thrown at them, and they drink a lot of beer, and they said they've been hunting for Bigfoot.
That could be anything, dude. So, if you were to go Bigfoot, how would you do it? How would you set up? What equipment would you use? What are your thoughts?
Well, I would use trail cams first off, but I'd also take along tranquilizer weapons
Yep.
in
Okay.
various amounts on the tranquilizer, because people say they don't want to kill them, which is fine. But if you take a tranquilizer of some type for various weight limits, then you can use that when you see how big the Bigfoot is and be able to tranquilize it and get a body.
Yeah. Okay. That kind of all right. So, how far would you have to be from the Bigfoot to shoot it with a train gun, David? How far do you think?
I don't know. It's all according to how much power your gun has. If it's just a regular handgun, it would be quite close. But if it was a rifle, it'd be better. But the thing is, without proof,
Yeah.
it's still speculation, because
Right. That's
you
true.
see the footprints, you see the nests they have,
Yeah.
you hear various things that happen, or the tapes in the mountains of California, but there's no proof yet. I would bet that somebody at one time killed a Bigfoot and it was out there in general knowledge, but there's no clearing center for Bigfoot information. So maybe that's never been publicized.
Mm-hmm. That's fair enough. That's fair. All right. So what do you thought? What are your thoughts now? You have you're out in Oklahoma, so it's very big sky out there. It's much more like remote. You see a lot of stars at night. I take it. What UFOs? What are your thoughts on UFOs, David?
UFOs are something I've been looking at since high school. I was in National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena in high school.
Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go.
So Donald Kehoe was the head of that, but every time the government came up with anything on UFOs, it was always swamp gas.
Yeah.
And right now, quite truthfully, with the government, quote, fully explaining UFOs and all that right now, my son was in military intelligence, and he said they're really telling you things, but they're not telling you anything except what happened a long time ago. Like,
Yep.
They're just saying, oh, these were top secret reports, but there's nothing to prove anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know,
like all this intel they got released recently by the Trump administration. You feel it's all just smoke and mirrors, or is it, you think any of it's points a finger at anything?
He's telling top secret reports. That's fine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling top secret reports of what happened. But until like numerous of the flying saucer reports, and especially New England, there's a bell-shaped type flying saucer that was found up there that the military took and put it someplace. There's a Roswell one that was put someplace. Okay, show me those.
Right.
Then leave it. Otherwise, I think the government is still doing swamp gas, or at least they're covering their tracks to say, it's, we know it's real. Listen to these top secret reports. They show blah, 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 blah. It doesn't say anything about what's with it.
Yep. So Roswell happened. Obviously, government or the army actually stepped in and said, "Shh, we're not talking about this anymore." And then it was like kept under wraps, essentially for a couple generations. However, you think that, I mean, we've seen a huge influx of UFO stuff since like the 40s, since like the age of nuclear weapons and whatnot, nuclear technology. You think it's related?
Do what?
the connection between the age of nuclear weapons and nuclear
yeah.
technology.
My
You
son,
think they're here because of that?
well, my son has been into all that because he's been in military intelligence at one time or another and been telling me about this. For example, the time all the nukes went offline at this one place, I think in North Dakota.
Yep.
The thing is, yes, there are such things out there, but there could be numerous causes for them, same as Bigfoot. It could be people from another planet. It could be beings we cannot see, in our physical thing. In the physical world, you can touch stuff and it's there, okay?
Yep.
There's other things in this world that you can't see, like for a dog is barking at something that's not there. The dog sees something or hears something.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
so it could be numerous things.
Yep. Okay. All right, that's it. Jay, your thoughts on what we're talking about?
I've seen several UFOs in my life, so I know they exist. The question where they come from, what they're doing here, I don't know, and we may never know until we talk to whoever's flying the ship.
Good point. Good point. Dave, I noticed their UFOs are more prevalent in certain areas of the country. Like we had a bevy of stuff happen in like New Hampshire. That couple that was abducted. There's been like out west, Arizona, New Mexico, that area. Is there? I'm sure there's other places in the world in the country I'm not talking about, but do you feel like they stay in a certain pattern? Do you feel like they stay in a certain area of the country, or this is where they just happen to be seen?
Well, a lot of times the military is the thing that brings them around due to atomic bombs, or in England, the Relisham, I think it's the forest out there that had had flying saucers show up, but it isn't that necessarily. They could be anywhere at any time. It's all according to what's going on and who sees it. For example, there's a Japanese airline pilot a few years ago that had a UFO pace him through the air.
Yep.
They weren't able to get any pictures of it, but I believe him. But I think now he's been taken out of the air because people didn't believe what he said.
I have seen countless photographs or like video stills of Navy pilots catching either something flying, stopping midair, and then just taking off like Mach 3 out of nowhere, going into the water. What do you think? These ones that go into the water, David, I'm sure you've seen or you've at least heard of these. Do you think they all do this, or is this a particular species, or what are your thoughts on this?
It could be that they all have something like that there. My son also lived in Puerto Rico for a while, and he was at the place that they did go underwater in Puerto Rico. So he did a lot of research on that. But the problem is that, okay, we see things, we hear things, and we see things that are weird in the sky or whatever, or like the Japanese airline pilot found something pacing him. But it could be numerous things that are going on, but still, there's still nothing in my text. It's still like when I was in NICAP. Nobody has proven that they really are out there, that you can see this is a piece of a flying saucer. Okay, show that to me, and I believe you. But if they can't find that, or if you can't show that, then what secrets are they sharing?
True. All these documents are just documents to them talking about correspondence throughout the government about this for years. But who's to know? There was a good documentary that came out this year. Oh God, it was like Disclosure or something. It was all different people from different levels of the government involved with these alien technologies, these alien projects that just came out and like, yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, we've been covering this stuff for years. Yeah, that's right. It's like didn't have this like massive outpouring of like, oh my God, I'm honestly I'm a little shocked that it's like nobody reacted like oh my God, this is finally like the proof that we wanted that the government has been covering this up. Nobody reacted. What are your thoughts on that, David? Are we numb to this? Are we? What do you think?
Well, quite truthfully, I think that the government is still like what I was when I was in high school. They're still covering up things that they don't want known because, quite truthfully, if certain facts became known, it would shock people.
Yeah, probably.
And but flying, it can be numerous things that flying saucers are doing. It could be actually visitors, and that's what could shock people. It could be things we can't see in this world that, like dogs or whatever, can see and hear. But whatever it is would shock people. Therefore, they're not going to come out with anything because they don't want to shock people.
So you think it's like a protective factor that the government is protecting the masses because you feel like people would lose their shit over this?
I don't think protecting the masses necessarily. I think they're protecting that, quote, secrets, unquote, because they want to keep these secrets no matter what's going on. And as I said, although they're, quote, releasing information now, that information is just reports that you had back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, same type of thing, except these top secret reports, not the regular reports from the public.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair. Jai, your thoughts on this?
I just feel like the public has seen enough UFOs to.
You think we're numb? You think we're
real?
Like, all right, we just keep seeing the same old shit. We want to see like ET. Give me ET or give me ET's craft,
right?
And then I'll buy it. But like all these like little like it's all over the place, and nobody seems to be like jumping on it. Maybe I'm just missing out on it. I don't know, but
yeah, no, it is. It's all over the place, and it's just one of those things. They don't want us. When I say they, the government, they don't want us to have mass hysteria over it.
Yeah, right. I mean, look at the what was that the war of the was that the War of the Worlds? H.G. Wells. You read it over the radio, and people freaked out.
It was on the radio, yeah.
And they thought it was real. Who's to say people nowadays, especially with the technology that we have, I mean, wouldn't like lose their minds? I don't know.
Well, with me, I would just like to see a part of a flying saucer. I don't care about what's going on, who they are, whatever else. But I've been with like NICAP and other organizations for a while and have never really still seen anything to prove that. Although the government says they're proving it by releasing top secret files. So what? They're still not proving anything.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think about these like survivor stories of people that have been abducted by UFOs? Why do you think they abduct us? Why do you think are they doing these awful probes and strange tests on us, or are they like I've heard anything from that to like oh my god, where like they realize that their radiation has like injured us and they're trying to like give us like medical assistance. What do you think?
Take for example Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah, from New Hampshire. Yep.
They had lost time, but also after they looked at Betty's dress when she was talking about the medical exam that she went through, it proves some points that she was talking about through the physical evidence of the dress.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, there was something going on, and it was quote, they're trying to find out who we are, I guess, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you still can't prove anything till I see a piece of one, like in Roswell. The guy that looked at it, he said he hid some of the information, or some of the evidence away, and I've never seen it, but it would be nice to see it. Therefore, it would prove to me that there is such a thing. I believe there's such a thing, sort of like with you, Bigfoot, but I can't prove it.
Show me. Give me something, right? I just want to see something. Oh my God. I think I have more faith in UFOs because I know people who do it, and I know people who have like had experiences. I guess. I can't really like speculate. Again, like you say, I can't speculate on your experience because you were there. I wasn't there. I didn't see everything that was going on, but I've had my own experiences with the paranormal that I'm sure some people will get me like I'm nuts, but I don't know. Your thoughts on that? Have you explored the ghostly side of things, David? Have you um, explored that puzzle?
I've looked at things about that, but I've gone to a couple of places they were quote haunted, unquote.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happened, but
Right.
still, that doesn't mean. And that's like going back to dogs and cats.
Mm-hmm.
They can see more than we can see, and therefore they could see. Well, like for example, there's a thing on TV showing a lamp in this living room that moved, but before that lamp moved, you could see the cat look over that way and said, like, "What's that?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there, it is something going on.
I have myself witnessed animals reacting to something like
it's
somebody was there. Yeah,
it's outside what we can see and hear. They can hear more because they have a larger spectrum they can look at there, because they were developed from wild animals, which wild animals had to be able to see and hear a lot if they didn't want to get caught. And that sort of would go, I guess, like the Bigfoot. He may be well advanced, so that's why you can't find him.
that's true. That's true. I don't really think about that as you might have just evolved into such an elusive hider over years of having to hide. But I'm still not sold on Bigfoot, dude. I'm just not. I've had a lot of great guests on talking about Bigfoot and tell me their experiences, and I thought the last one we had on was pretty good, but I still can't say 100% I believe in Bigfoot. I just and even if I do, I don't know what Bigfoot is. I can't label Bigfoot. He's not. I can't say he's an ape. I can't say, I don't know. I just can't label him. One thing. Well, no, one thing. A big difference. You've been referencing a few different television shows. A big thing with UFOs and like ghosts, for example, there are not a lot of UFO hunter shows. There are not a lot of like Bigfoot hunter shows, but there are. Oh my god! At one time, they were like a dime a dozen ghost shows on television. What do you think? What do you think? Why do you think that is? Why do you think there's more? There's all that money, and I mean, people did like ride that market hard and have every kind of ghost show on TV that they possibly could imagine, and then some.
Maybe
and that market slowly started to die. But why do you think it's so much more popular with ghosts than it is with UFOs or Bigfoot?
Because that's funner.
Yeah, dude. I told so many people. 100%, 99% of the time, you think you're talking to yourself, or you think you're talking to like you think nothing's going on. 99% of the time, nothing really happens. It's that 1% of the time where I just saw a guy walking up. Who's up? Nobody's upstairs. Or like, I just got this great EVP, like out of nowhere. But holy shit, it's so boring sometimes.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to, and people have feelings like that and can see unusual things, but they don't think about it until after it's happened.
Mm-hmm. True.
And that's ordinary feeling. It's just when there's ghost shows on, they go into a lot of different things. And what bothers me about ghost shows is that it'd be nice if they would get rid of the stupid ghost at the house or whatever, instead of research.
Honestly, as a paranormal investigator for 2 decades, the best thing I told people was just tell them to leave you alone. I can't like set a ghost trap and catch them. I can't like perform some ceremony. I can't wave a magic wand. I can't bully them. The only thing I can do is empower you as the homeowner, and you need to tell them they're bothering you to leave you alone. That has worked. That has worked for me. I've seen that work for other people. Empowering people is really all you can do, I think, to rid a house of a spirit in that sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe a medium has other ways. I've had mediums come in and they kind of like push them out, whatever. But I don't have that ability. Jai, what are your thoughts on that? On banning haunted houses from the spirits?
Well, me personally, our haunted house, we had to have a preacher come in.
Was he able to rid?
He was able to rid it for a while. a short while. It basically got quiet,
But it
but
came back.
then the activity came back. Yeah, the activity was so strong. One blessing wasn't gonna, or one prayer,
Yeah, no,
I
right.
don't think was gonna
Mm-hmm.
gonna handle it. Not saying that one prayer wouldn't work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, you know, it takes a lot to get rid of those energies.
Yeah, for sure. What do you guys? Each one of you? What do you think makes one spirit so like strong, so able to manipulate objects, heavy objects, push people, scratch people, hurt people, versus something that's like just gonna like just barely touch or like make a cold spot? Why is one spirit so with so much energy to manifest and another one doesn't? Thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I wonder about that too. I mean, I don't know if it's something where they have to pull in the energy, and different people have different strength to pull it in. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Um, or if you just gradually earn energy. You never know
Yeah,
what's going on the other side.
yeah. I guess we'll find out one day eventually. David, your thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, it's just, yeah, but like there can be quote spirits, or there can be Beelzebub type hauntings
Yeah.
that
Okay.
Mhm.
that are not humans that have passed on, but things that are unexplained in this world.
The D word, you could say the D word.
Yeah. By the
Mhm.
Yeah.
way, as you're looking at me on this thing, have you ever seen anybody show up behind me like looks like a spirit or anything yet?
No, not yet. Why is
Not
your?
yet.
Do you live in a haunted house, David?
No, I just wondered. Sometimes when you're on something like this, something will show up and say, "Hey, here I am. Look at me."
I'm yet in my years of podcasting. I'm yet to have that happen. But I invite any spirits who wants to do that. That'd be great for you to do that now. To show up like right here, and just like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm here. That'd be great.
Yeah,
That'd be a great way to like capture you. Also, I invite them to do stuff like that all the time.
that'd be a show you couldn't forget.
Appear on film, please. When I'm filming, when I'm live, please come right on the show now. Um, I had a medium on one night, and she was doing readings. This was like probably 2 years ago now. It was on this here show, and she was bringing people on, and I wasn't even thinking about a particular person, but a particular person from my life had passed. Wasn't fond of this person at all. And she kept drawing towards that person, and I kind of knew where she was going, but I let her like unfold it completely.
Hmm.
And she's like, oh, he's so like blah blah blah. He's worried about you work too much. I'm like, screw this guy. Uh, when I ended up telling her who it was, and um she had some more things to say. It's just so it was like a ghost came on, almost hijacked my show. I guess I could say, because I didn't want him there, and he showed up anyway. I didn't invite him. She wasn't doing a medium reading with me. She just happened to, hey, I'm getting this person in my head, and he's here for you. And she just started saying words, and I'm like, yup. Can you specify this to that? And she's like, that, and I'm like, oh god. And I knew exactly where she was going. So while they haven't jumped on the podcast yet, which would be awesome, guys, jump in behind me. They have come on through a medium, which was a little unnerving at the time.
Well, let me tell you an unusual story. Very brief story. When I was in college, we had some upstairs in the attic. We had noises and stuff, so we decided to have a séance just to see if we could find out what it was.
Seance.
Which it didn't close it like it should have closed it. So I think it's still there. In fact, I've gone by that place before. It's in Fayetteville, Arkansas. They built up some apartments nearby, around the area, but the house itself is still overgrown with bushes in between different modern apartment buildings that for some reason they never tore down.
Mm-hmm.
and it could be because of, quote, the haunting that was opened up.
Okay. Well, that's kind of cool. What are your thoughts on dances? Are cool. I hope to see one eventually in my lifetime. What are your thoughts? Why? What makes a spirit hold on to a haunt? What makes a spirit stick around? For one reason or another.
Well, quite truthfully, it used to own the place, and they still think he's still there, and
Yep.
really doing something. When you watch some of these shows nowadays with that articulated body thing that they use, I don't know what it's called, but you can see that there is something there or doing something.
Oh, the SLS. Yeah, it's like a stick figure almost. It shows up on. Yeah, it's a video game like reader, and it will pick up on your body. But if you're using it without anybody in front of it, and it's pick up on stick figures, the theory is, boys and girls, that's a ghost. I've used them before. Maybe I don't, but I'm not sold. I'm not sold on it yet myself. But it does pick up on other features in the room.
By the way, I have a question for you. How
Yeah.
much does it cost to get into ghost hunting to get all the equipment you need?
All right. So I tell everybody this forever. My best piece of equipment always has been my digital recorder. And I use these headphones in. I plug it right into the digital recorder. I got it at Walmart like 14 years ago for $40. It plugs into the computer. I can review stuff on the computer, which is great. Honestly, you really don't need a lot of money. You don't need to buy everything you see on TV. You don't need to buy half the shit you see on TV. Honestly, buy like 5 cat balls like cat toys.
Yeah.
Get a recorder. Maybe get a good pair of headphones, like isolating. Which of these are there? A drummer's headphones. A flashlight for safety. Maybe a notebook if you want to take notes. But I always note stuff on the recorder. If I hear something like, "Hey, buddy, review," when you're reviewing. Every now and again, I'll bring like a spirit box, but I've worked more into doing white noise, which does not pick up transmission, does not pick up radio waves. So it could be a radio station with white noise. It's just white noise. So when you're hearing voices coming through that, I think it's a ghost. I don't know. It might be. So I have stuff like that. Sometimes I'll have like a K2, which is, you can get them online at Walmart for $15. Don't go to these websites where they sell them for like $70. It says ghost hunting tool. Go to like Walmart and buy an EMF detector, which is called a K2, and it's black. It looks just like the ones on TV. They all look the same. Press a little button and it goes bloop, bloop, right? And you use that to check like the natural electricity in the room, like the computer that I'm at. It's gonna like light up an EMF detector. Like fluorescent lighting, old wires in the floor or the walls, holy shit, a circuit breaker, holy shit, an alarm clock, microwave oven, timer, just a timer, the clock on the stove, all this shit will set this EMF level off. So it's a good idea to know what's in the room before you investigate the room, so stuff like that. Other than that, you don't have to run out and get like those teddy bears that talk to you. You don't have to get like they have like the portal. It's just like a ghost box that a friend of mine made one for like $75 and then selling it for like $500 online. You don't have to do all this shit. A lot of this stuff you can make yourself if you have a little bit of mechanical skill. It's not really that difficult. Like the EMP pump, right? So it's a pump that pushes out an EMP pulse. They're saying that like a ghost will use that to manifest, use that energy to manifest. So they're selling them online for like $200. You can go to like back then we went to the Radio Shack. They don't have those anymore. And we bought the components. We bought the electrical stuff. Cost maybe $20. You spun you spun 2 magnets on like this, 2 like little rotors. You put it in, you powered it with a battery, and you just set it down. And they created this electromagnetic juice, and allegedly a spirit could use it to manifest. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it. We got EVPs on those investigations, but I don't know if it was the pump or it was any other factors. But honestly, David, I tell everybody this: don't spend a ton of money. It's more you. It's more your own perspective. It's more your own
Well,
interpretation.
it's sometimes your intuition. You think something's in the room, and you turn around, there isn't anything there. You know.
You're not always going to see them, though. Honestly, for a lot of years, I just felt it. Jai, what are you're intuitive. Jai, what are your thoughts on this, dear?
I feel like, I mean, it's hard because, like I said, I've experienced so much when it comes to ghosts. I feel like when you have one, you'll definitely know you have one. But it starts out, you just got to remember it starts out small.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're gaining energy from your fear. That's what I feel like, because first the little small things will be done, and then finally it gets to the point where you notice and it starts to scare you. And then, the more you get scared, the more it seems like the more that happens.
Yeah.
It just gets worse and worse and worse.
Or you
So,
get just maybe you get so hypersensitive. I remember being so hypersensitive to everything that everything I was constantly looking at every corner, every turn. But yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts on dolls, guys. These haunted dolls. First off, without any haunting involved, I absolutely hate dolls. I think they're horrific pieces of toys, if you will. Then you have the haunted factor on, or it's possessed by a demonic creature that's going to murder you in your sleep. Guys, what are your thoughts on these? Are they real? Is there anything to them? Are they possessed?
Well, it could be if you go to that island of the dolls, you might think that.
Right? Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we have Annabelle doll here in New England. That's she's got a hell of a reputation. She's a doll, but
well, quite truthfully, it's just your imagination does more with that than anything else, because the doll looks creepy. But if you go back to, like, I can't remember the guy that has Ghost Adventures. He has his own haunted museum where he puts dolls in with things around them to
right,
them.
dude. I know a lot of people that have fucking dolls and they're all haunted. Satori Hawes, Jason Hawes' daughter. She's engaged to a young man here, Cody, here in Rhode Island. Great couple, great people. For a while, they did a haunted couples like paranormal museum, and they had like a war mask. They had like dolls. They were allegedly all haunted, and they kept them in these like boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. And then they have a museum in their house, and shit happens, and the dolls move, and things get knocked over, and there's nothing in the room. I don't know why anybody would want any of this stuff in your own home. It baffles my mind.
My girlfriend used to collect dolls. Every time I go to her place, they're all over the place.
Of course, I hate dolls too.
So that's sort of scary.
Does she have anything paranormal going on in her house?
Oh no, it's just she's collected dolls for 20 or 30 years, and she has them all over the place because they were high price at the time. But now she says she can't get rid of them because nobody wants them.
Right, because dolls are creepy too. Nobody likes a doll. I hate dolls. I had this kid. Go ahead, Jack.
If you were a spirit, if I was a spirit, I would want to be in something that was shaped like I was prior, so I know how to maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
True. That'd be a good place to hide too, I guess. I knew a guy a number of years ago, and he was trying to get into investigating, and he did a number of investigations, and I kind of helped him out and stuff. And he just wanted to have an experience. He wanted to catch a ghost on film, or have a haunting that he was a part of, that he get to see and experience everything. And nothing would ever happen. He would like show me these pictures. He's like, "Oh, what do you think? This is great." I'm like, "Are you like facing a window here, guy?" He's like, "Yeah. I'm just, my van. It's my van's windshield." Like, is that you in the reflection there, dude? He's like, "Oh," and he thought it was a ghost. I was like, "I'm sorry, I burst your balls." You'd be like, pointy. Anyway, he ends up going on a website, and he buys a doll, and it says it's a haunted doll, and he takes it into his home in Cumberland, Rhode Island. He's like, buddy, I bought $100. I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Because I want to have an experience, buddy. I want to see what this is like. No, bad idea. Within like 2 weeks, he's calling me, buddy. You gotta like, do you know somebody who can like help me to get rid of this doll? I got stuff going on. The cabinet doors are flying open. This stuff getting thrown all over the place. I'm sick all the time. Like, yeah, it might be the doll, dude. So I hooked him up with a local demonologist here in Rhode Island. James Anino, he's been a guest on the show. And James helped him to work through his doll issue and get rid of his doll safely. I think he was done with the paranormal after that. I never heard another thing from this kid. He did have a thing where he tried kind of squeezing somebody else's evidence off of his own. So then I stopped talking to him. But why would you invite that shit into your house? And then oh my God, then when when the shit really hits the fan, literally shit your pants. So that's my, I don't know where I was going with that story, but that's my story about awful dolls and hauntings, and bring them both awful things into your homes.
Now, also one other thing you might think about with, hauntings like that, like you were talking about, or with dolls or whatever, and quote, Bigfoot being basically an ethereal creature also, and or flying saucers being something that isn't from outer space, but is something here. It could be all those are interrelated in one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and
I've heard that too. I've heard that as well. That's I don't know. Maybe. I who am I to say? I believe in ghosts. I believe dead people appear to me and talk to me and poke at me and do all sorts of shit with me just to for whatever purpose. So who am I to say that they're not all interrelated? I don't know. Show me. But yeah, go on. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It just seems like that at times you need to look at that in particular. Although in flying saucers, there's physical evidence that they are physical, but there could be ethereal also. Same thing with Bigfoot. He could be physical, but ethereal also. Meeting going on with the ghost stuff on both of those.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's
things we cannot see and understand in our mind. That's what bothers us, because we don't know what it is. And all these three things are unexplained, and they could be, as I say, interrelated.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah,
It could be different levels.
The unknown.
Go ahead.
People are, they like you said, they don't know what's going on, what's going to happen on the other side, or what's happening in front of them. So it is, it's a race to learn about the unknown. And I think that the people that are racing are the ones that are trying to learn about it before they die.
Could
Just
be.
saying.
Yeah, for sure.
So they know.
For sure. All right, David, we're gonna wrap up soon. Jai, you got any last questions you want to throw out at David before we finish up tonight?
No,
David,
I think
is there
about everything really.
Okay, good.
So,
is there any way we could get a hold of you if someone had a question for you, or?
Yeah, you can get. I've got an email address if you want to send me something there.
Nice.
Okay.
Should I give it to you over this thing or not?
If you want to shout it out, by all means, David, if you're comfortable with that.
Do what?
If you want to shout it out, if you're comfortable doing that, you can shout it out for folks.
Okay. Well, I'll give it to you. If it's spam, I can always delete it. But DRW1624 at Yahoo.
Okay, awesome. And people can find you on Facebook and social medias, of course, David, correct?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook on Unsolved Mysteries and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's all really good, interesting content. It's good to see good updated posts and what different people are experiencing all over the world, all over the country. So that's always fun to see. Thanks, David. I want to send you a big thanks for showing up tonight, for being our guest. It's been lovely talking to you. Yep. Thank you, sir. Tune in. Stay tuned to all my productions as Three Dudes Brews presents. Grace Ale. Right here. Grace Ale, the beer I was drinking tonight. Fantastic brewery down in Wesley, Rhode Island. Check it out if you're ever in the Rhode Island area. They make Captain's Daughter, which is tremendous. Anyway, next week I am working on securing a guest for the 16th. However, on the 23rd, we're bringing back Christina Marie. It's been a while. Psychic medium, and then we're going back-to-back mediums on the 30th. I'm going to bring in Angelica Penta. Angelica and I had a really great interaction last time. She came on, and she mentioned a name to me, and she mentioned two names, and I went in one direction, and I kind of want to go in the other direction. So I'll bring her back on. We're going to talk a little bit about that. She might do a reading. She might do 2 readings. She might do no readings. Tune in and find out, and maybe she'll do a reading for you. 4, David Worthington. 4, Jai. It's been Buddy there, the Ghost and the Goat. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a good week. Go Red Sox. Jesus Christmas.
Good night.